Hello, my name is Toya and welcome back to my video. In this video, I will be getting to the end of URA, hopefully, with Taiki Shuttle so that we can see what we are working with here. I am aiming to make Taiki my next 4-star, and I am already struggling with my first 4-star, but that is all because of the pace chaser, and we all know that the late surges and the pace chasers are really difficult to build. They need to be able to pass and get around in order to be able to get to the finish line first, and so I am going to be taking the time to look at these skills, and of course the stats are going to be at what the game almost recommends, because that's all we need here to see if the skills actually work. So here I'm starting with the Pace Chaser Savvy, and hopefully as this video goes along we won't just lose, because here is now the prudent positioning. The only really main key one I am missing from this is actually the go with the flow. I tried several times, but the skills that keep on appearing are skills that I already have and not actually that one. So here we are without that skill, and of course the problem is if you do not have the go with the flow as well as the other skills, you are more likely to get trapped here. And so here we are at the sprinter stakes to see how we're going to get around this, because look, she has proc the prepare to pass, but she still cannot pass. If she had, and there goes the nimble navigator, and she still cannot pass. As you see, she still got stuck there right on the end of another player, and she could not pass. So without the go with the flow, it is more difficult for her to go past other players. I know that the game says you don't have enough strength, but what you actually don't have is the correct skill to get past. So we are going to try again here, and if these skills do line up correctly and we do get into the correct bracket, of course we are going to pass, because she does have all of the necessary skills, she just did not proc them in the correct order. However, the game has told me here with these symbols that I do have enough intellect for her to be able to use her skills correctly with the 2 circles, so here we try again. I have found that if the game tells you on the first time that you have enough intellect but you don't pass, the game will indeed change it slightly so that you can, because it does know that you are supposed to be able to use your skills correctly, so on your second try you are more likely to be able to use your skills correctly if you do have the correct intellect. If you don't pass it this second time, you're probably not going to pass it the third time. So let us try it again here, because I definitely know that she does have the intellect to be able to use these skills correctly. Even without the go with the flow, we have all of the other skills, so we will try again like I said. But I would do recommend that if you are playing as a pace chaser, you go ahead and you pick up the go with the flow, because it makes everything a lot easier, much easier than the nibble navigator or the shoot step, because it's so difficult to get the shoot step to actually proc. So then go with the flow has a higher percentage of procking, and the prudent positioning has a more higher chance of getting you stuck if there are a lot of other pace chasers around. So you need to have the nimble navigator to get out of that once you are stuck in there with the prudent positioning. But here she goes, she was able to use the prepared to pass this time, so we should have no problem. She should be able to pass between them with probably a little bit of effort if she doesn't use a nimble navigator, but there you go. Prepared to pass almost opens up a gap for you if you are in the prudent positioning proc area. So if you're where the prudent positioning told your characters to be at the end of that, you can either proc the navigator or, like you said, proc the prepared to pass, and you will get an opening. So you do need these skills together because they just don't work on their own. I have found that you will just get stuck repeatedly unless you get really lucky, and I will show you at the end of this video how I got really lucky with another Taiki shuffle. So let's move on here. So as you can see, we are just the one match away. So I am going to let you see what I have been doing here, and you can see that I have been having quite the bad luck with getting my friends to stack on the correct skill. So that is probably why I'm still at a B here. As you can see, if we go into training here, they are just not all stacking on the correct ones because I have quite a few. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the width here, and I am going to see if they will actually, no, of course they don't. So we will use no, I don't think I should even. So I'm going to rest here. And the point is not to risk it at all. I do not risk because on my account I am very likely, still one, that's fine. I am very likely to lose even on the 1%. I have failed on the 1% a lot of times before, and I have also failed on the 14% 3 times in a row. I failed, I went back and I did it again, and I failed, and I went back and I did it and I failed, and I'm like, okay, I just, it's not 14%, is it? It's guaranteed failure here. And since then I have just not done it. I have gone and I have tried it a few times and I am just guaranteed to fail. If you have been doing it sequentially really well and then you go and you even do it at a 1%, you will fail, and then it will proc a storyline where they get horribly wrong, they can't sleep, something bad will happen in the storyline. So it's better not to risk it. Plus I have noticed if you keep them consistently happy, they are more likely to get more skill points and to be happier at a longer rate. So as I was speaking, I went and I got a recovery because it is much easier than getting more stamina at this point if they don't line up. It's better to just have a recovery to recover what you do have rather than to try to get more stamina. I have found that that works a lot better. So we will go here. Even though it says it's slightly, it is much better to recover than it is to try to stack more stamina, which she could fail to use because of her, lack of intellect. So here we go with a late start, but we do have the pace chaser savvy going. So I do not think, yes, exactly, we have the prudent positioning like you saw, which is putting me into a bad position, and then I hydrate, which is great, but as you can see there, that is not the position I want to be in as a pace chaser. You want to be on the outside as much as possible, but the prudent positioning will put you in a clear path to getting to the front with the minimal gap. And if you have to go with the flow, you will just slide straight through that gap. Unfortunately, I do not have the go with the flow, so I am going to have to hope here that I proc the nimble navigator so I'll be able to just pass through, or else, as you see here, I am stuck. I am stuck right here behind cap and I am waiting. Yes, here is the prepared to pass, and now I can pass. I cannot pass without the prepared to pass or the nimble navigator, because as you can see there, I will just get stuck. And once you are stuck as a pace chaser or as a late surger, you cannot pass. because the person in front of you then dictates the speed, and if they don't speed up, you cannot speed up. So here we go with another loss, but that loss is not my fault. It is the fault of the fact that I was never offered the go with the flow. So of course she came in sixth, but she had enough speed to win. She did have enough speed to win. The game has told me that she does, so we will go ahead and we will try again. And on this chance, we will definitely pass, because now the game knows that we have the skills and we have the intellect, and it will go ahead now and it will put us into a better position to use the skills that we do have. And yes, this is why you need clocks, because as a pace chaser, as a late surger, the game needs to recognize what you do have and what you did not proc the first time, and then allow that to happen on the second go. At least that is how it has worked for me, and that is why I'm out of clocks and I'm actually using my currency, because raising pace chasers is quite expensive if you have very much bad luck like I do on my account.
長く続いたマイル路線も終わりを迎える。王者誕生、マイルチャンピオンシップ。1番人気はもちろんこの子、サイレンス鈴鹿。人気と実力を兼ね備えたオグリキャップ。今日は3番人気です。さあ2番人気はこの子、2大マイル戦覇者待機シャトル。真っ向勝負に注目だ。満を持して連覇に挑みます。ゲートイン完了。出走の準備が整いました。 スタート。各馬娘綺麗なスタートを切りました。
みんな集中してましたね。好レースが期待できそうです。
先行争いはサイレンス鈴鹿、待機シャトル、西のフラワー、待機シャトル。
Ah, perfect. This rushed debuff is exactly what I need to be able to pass this. Sometimes when I'm behind and I get the rush debuff, it really does help, because it's a debuff. The characters run a lot faster to try to catch up with the person in front of them, and it's seen as wasting stamina, but depending on if you have a recovery or not, it is a good thing. So once she goes ahead and she, yes, there you go, procs her recovery, everything goes back to normal, but now she is in a much better position to pass, and that is because when she is rushed, no one will stand in her way when she is rushed, and that is amazing. So here now is the prepared to pass, and that's it. Now we have won. That was very amazing of the game to give us that debuff, because depending on how the debuff is used, it is actually a buff. So once you have a recovery for that, then you just go ahead and you win. And that is why I picked up that hydrate just before this match, because I am more likely to get a rush debuff. But if you recover from that debuff in time, you will win. That's just it. Nobody stands in your way when you are rushed. You just go straight past them, because then you do have the strength to push everyone out of the way, because you're in a frenzy, so you automatically win. So the game could not find a way to get me around, so it just said, okay, you can just push everyone out the way, and I appreciate that. Thank you, game. So now we move on. But of course, like I said, if you have the go with the flow, you do not have any issues there, because you will just slide on past. But I will go ahead here so you can see what I am working with and what I have, so you're not at a loss, because I think there are a lot of minimums that you need to get, and then everything over that is just fine. But I found that, as you can see, I have no luck. I have no luck with getting them to be on the scale that they need for the rainbow to activate. So I just have to go ahead and go with what I can, because look at this. They're all maxed, but none of them, with my luck, are ever on the, the technique that they need to be on. So it's crazy. There's crazy bad luck every single run, or else she would be at SS right now and a higher level in each. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to do what I can here, and yeah, we'll move forward. There's literally nothing else I can do apart from just hope and pray at this point. This is actually a joke, right? This is not even funny. We just have to take what we can get. I don't even understand. I don't understand what is happening with these characters. Why are none of you on speed? And that's what I need. I need more speed right now. So I have to take it even though it's not rainbow. Not ideal. Nothing works out. So this really is getting it there by myself without any help from the friends because they literally have not been helping me, as you can see. And yeah, now I don't have enough energy, and there's one here. One. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just make her as happy as possible and then just go into the race. Nothing else to be done. Okay, so here's what I have. You can pause the video, kind of look over it. This is what I'm going to be trying to get because everything else, as you can see here, is not correct. So yeah. Okay, so here's the qualifiers we're about to go into, and as you can see, it's a turf mile and everything's firm, and it's of course winter. So let's check out what stats I have on her at the moment, because these are what I am going to be taking into the URA. So as you can see, they're not really that high. I tried to get the width a bit up to 400, but as you can see, nobody was there, so I tried to manage the energy, so it went a bit over to 490, and still nobody was there most of the time. As you witness, they're just not on the skills. So we can go in here and you can see these are the skills that I'm going to take. The firm conditions, I think that would be the wiser choice. So yeah, let me just check again. Yeah, firm. And so yeah, the firm conditions, because it's not raining, it's not a standard distance, and just checking again if this one, no, it's not a medium, it's a mile, and all of them are going to be mile. So none of those are going to work apart from this one. Yeah, it can't go up anymore. So we take this, and then hopefully this will make a little bit of a difference. Obviously, if they had actually gone onto the skills and we had got a little bit more stamina and a little bit more speed, then everything would work out. But I am sure that you will have a much better luck than I have. And as you see, going in here, the only thing that it says we're missing here is guts, so it should all work out. And if not, we have one more try to start over, but I'm thinking it will be smooth sailing from here. The computer knows what skills I have, and I just know going into this first race we're going to of course have a late start, because this is my game. I don't even have to think about it. It will definitely give me a late start. So we will hope that she recovers from that late start and that everything goes well from there. So deep breath. These should be the minimum stats required to clear this URA going forward. So, and as you can see, I'm fourth. That makes no difference when you compare the stats to the other characters. It's just what the computer thinks is best, and then without the skills. So here we go. Oh, we did not get a late start. That is perfect. That is really good. So already we are ahead. So let's watch and see. If she can stay on the outside, we shall have no problems here.
番愛熱封じ並んでくる早くも激しい競り合い少し離れて9番外から行く桜爆心1馬身離れて
Why are they all spread out like this? This is not normal. Normally everybody goes to the corner, but for this race it seemed like everybody is stretched across the field. That is not a normal racing technique. Look how far out that one is. That's not normal. Is the game broken? Normally they all squeeze against the railing, as we know, but no, they all spread out here for me to pass. That is very, very good. I will not complain. Keep being spread, and then I can pass more easily through the ranks. Be prepared to pass. Yes, everything should work out here. I am not worried, even though I'm in third place. No, no worries. She will definitely win this. She is on the outside. And just like I said, it's no problem if she's on the outside. She is much faster than she needs to be for this race. And I know a lot of people will be SS or very, very quick. But yeah, she does not need all that speed. She just really needs to not be trapped. And that is what they are looking for, I believe, in the pace chasers, in the late surgers. If you're not trapped, you win. And now it's the semi-final, so the only thing I can do is take a huge gamble here because yes, I'm gonna take this risk, and for once it paid off. Normally I would lose really badly and be sad, so it worked out this time. So we don't have any new amount of skill points, I don't think, or we do, so we can go ahead and we can get up the firm conditions again because it's 77. Sorry, yes, it's still firm conditions, so I guess that is a good thing. Just go and get this up to max just to see if that will help us a little bit to finish this out with a little bit of stamina left over, and then we're going to have to obviously do the finals the same stats as this. So let's go ahead and get started. And now, as you can see, I still have one almost perfect circle, a dash which is guts, and then another tight circle which is the wit, which means I am smart enough for this. And so now the only thing to do is to pray and to hope that, oh no, that is not good. That is not good at all. They've gone ahead and put me on first, which is just a trap, really. Like, no, this is really a trap. I am trapped here. Prudent positioning is not going to help me, I don't think, but I'm glad it activated early. Oh, it did help me. She is moving out, not much, but she has moved out slightly. Perfect. She is next to someone, which is actually the first time I think prudent positioning has actually worked correctly. So here we go. No problems now that we're not stuck against the railing. We should have no problems passing Suzuka here and winning this match. And there we go, perfect. So as long as you are not trapped as a pace chaser, you are perfectly fine here. And that is all you need to know. As long as you have the perfect skills to not be trapped and the minimum amount of speed, which will be one circle. So at least about 40 less than this that I have, then you should be fine. You should be fine here. I won by this much. Yeah, I barely won, but as you can see, it is not that difficult if you have the right skills, because if you have go with the flow, you would have won by a larger margin because it would have picked up a little bit more speed on the way, and it's because I am, as I keep saying, missing that one skill. I was not offered it at all throughout my playthrough. It's probably offering it right now, but I cannot risk trying to get it. So yeah, I cannot risk trying to get it at all because this is 51, and if she misses, she will get sad. So I'll just make her a little bit more happy with some energy, and we will go on our way. There is nothing to be done because there is no more skills I can take. I am at 77 right now, and yes, there is no point in the distance because the distance will not help me. Oh wait, the distance will help me. The distance is perfect. We have the perfect distance. I'm just checking again. Yes, we have the perfect distance. So yes, we do. I'm so shocked that it did this. We can go ahead and snag this, and this will actually help us. So there you go. Perfect. That's just perfect luck. So we will just go ahead and do this race. We will check and see what kind of stats we have now. And okay, so we've gone down slightly. We've got a triangle, but we still have enough smarts to use our skills, and that is what is going to make or break this, because as long as we are still smart enough to be able to use our skills to full potential here, that is all we need. We're in position 7. That is perfectly fine and acceptable. Below 5 is obviously a trap, but about 10 or above is ideal if we have 16, and of course 16 and above is more ideal if there is 18 competitors. We always want to be on the outside as a pace chaser or as a late surger, and then we want to be able to pass on the outside. We do not want to listen to what they say about strength, because strength does not matter at all in this game at the moment. No matter how much strength you have, you cannot break through. So there you go. All three of these come together in a combination to make sure that I will pass this. Well, she will pass this if she uses all of her skills correctly. So there we go with the prudent positioning. And we will just hope that she isn't trapped, and she is not. She is free. She is free to run. So she is next to... Oh no. Al, what are you doing here? Do not trap me, Al. Please do not trap me. I need to be able to pass between the two of you, if that is okay. And there we go. So as long as she just moves slightly and is on the outside, we should be able to... Okay, that's the height rate. So yes, we are on the outside. Perfect. That's perfect. So here we go now. There's nothing should hold us back. We still have skills to... yes, there's the prepared to pass, and so I shall pass. And that is it. We have won this. There are no coming back from that. But in case we still have 2 skills, but they will not come back from that. So, and this is how you win URA with minimum stats. No problem. And also, as you can see, there was no extroverted skills, there was no moving faster, there was no acceleration, there was no, no improvement apart from the conditions of the weather. And yeah, nothing, just pure stats. And this is more or less just doing it on your own without even friends' help, because my friends, as you can see, barely helped me out. So it would have been a lot higher stats if they had helped me, but this is minimum help from your friend or your companions and minimum stats that you'll probably require. So at the end of this, I will go ahead and I will show you the stats that I have on her, and I will show you the build of who I used to get her up here so that you have all the information, because there are a lot of information that's not necessary and a lot of numbers that are not being told. So yes, there is a lot of bad luck on my account. So if I can do this with this low stats, then anybody can get it done on their account. So let's go and have a look right after the story. If you want to not watch the story, you can of course just skip past it.
Let's go! Ooh. Let's go! Wow! What? Ah! Sorry. What? Wow! Yay! Yoshi! Very, very thank you!
Okay, that was a little bit more adorable than I thought it would be. So here we go. I have 190 points to spare, and I think I'm going to go ahead and snag this. I didn't before because I didn't know if it would work or not, but now she can have it for the extra points. Now that we have finished, I'm thinking that we will end up at like a C, so this will probably be a C clear, because there are not many pace chaser skills actually here, and that's what you need for a good score. Lots of skills that correspond to what your character is about, and I mostly had skills to help her pass. So it's even better than I thought. It's a C plus. So there you go. So we cleared it without being a B at all, and obviously I didn't expect to be a B, but the C plus is really good. And I'm a bit disappointed in the sparks there, because I am a champion. I should have better sparks, but there you go. That's a quick look at the skills that are important here. And this is my second rated one. Obviously, I have a B version, which is a very lucky version of her, which I will show you in a moment. But yeah, those are the stats that she cleared with, and she's a C plus. So you do not have to be a B to clear this. I'm sure a lot of you probably already know that, because the stats that you get, the points that you get, are allocated to the choices that you make as pertaining to the skills that are related to your character. So let's go ahead and look at what I have here. As you can see, I have a lot of C pluses here, and yeah, this is my B rated one. And she is not good. She cannot really do anything. She cannot participate in any of the events. She will just come 12th all the time. She is always stuck behind other people. She only has prudent positioning, which, as we all know, puts you into a bad position. And yes, so if she's not on the outside, she will lose. So she loses most of the time, but she is the fastest card I have at SS plus. But is she good for anything? No, she is not. She just got really lucky, and she was always on the outside. And yes, yeah, that was it. I would not build her ever again like this, because it just would not work. But as you saw, she has a lot of speed, and she had a bit of power to push her way through the crowd, but she cannot do that anymore. Outside of the URA, she is just kind of stuck here. Whereas this one, she will do a lot better with these skills for the races. So I'm going to go ahead and be using this one instead, because it has all the good skills, and having these skills that are labeled Pace Chaser are of course much better for her. It of course will require you to have higher stat numbers for the overall, so you can just go ahead and change them back to your B characters just in time for the tally. But for the rest of the time, you should just use the characters that are best suited for the types of race you are putting them into your team for, because most of the time they will not have that high of a stat as a B, but the C pluses, the C's, might actually do a better job in the races than you might think. You can go ahead and check that for yourself. In the team races, you can go in and put your characters in there, and you can just see how well they do in comparison to your other characters, and you will see that sometimes the C pluses with the better skills just do a lot better than the B's, and you will know from there. Of course, many people will say speed is the most important thing, and that is true for front runners, but for a pace chaser and for a late surger, the speed is not as important as the power, because the power is what gets you to that speed. A front runner needs stamina and speed to go as fast as possible for as long as possible. But for pace chasers, the most important thing is the skills to be able to get around other pace chasers and to get around the front runners. Pace chasers and of course late surgers like this, they are dependent on the speed of the front runners. They are not going to outspeed the front runners. They are going to get in line and follow that speed. The speed that they have in the end is the amount of power that they have to exert after that. So you need enough stamina for the race, and then you put it into power so that you can run fast. And then after that, it's the speed, which is the top speed you can go, which will help you to get around and get to the front at the last hurdle. So it is a different type of playstyle. So you are not going to try to outspeed the speed of the, obviously, of the front runners, because they are not going to pass the front runners for quite a long time. They are going to, as you can see, stay behind them. As you can see, the pace chasers will chase the speed, and the late surgers are going to wait for that late surge, and then they're going to push past, or more likely go around and then pick up speed and then come to the front at the end. And that requires power as well as speed, but mostly power to get to that full potential as soon as possible, and then to go to that maximum speed. So that's what you need there. So that is how I have built my Ogre cap. I have not been able to, as you can see, I do have a B Ogre, but I do not have the necessary cards for late searchers just yet. When I do, I will definitely be able to get the skills to get her around the character. I do not have that studious card, which is the opera card. I do not have that R card, so I do not have that skill. So we will go over here and I will quickly show you that I do have all of the characters. So I will be trying to build them and see what the minimum is, because I have to work with the minimum, because I do not have a good selection of cards, and that is because I went and I want to collect all of the characters more than I want to collect the cards. And yes, I know that that is not the way around that everybody says you should do it, probably because the cards seem to be a lot more important to how to build your character than having the character, because you can of course clear the content with the 1 stars, with the 2 stars, but what would be the fun in not collecting all the characters? I want to try to get them, but this is the only late searcher in the game at the moment that happens to be gold ship. So having a gold ship card is not really that useful, because only gold ship is an end closer at the moment. And that is it for this video. I will probably do Marazensky next, so yeah. And so here is her stats and her build after I have completed the entirety of the URA. And yes, I did try to get perfect S's in both sprint and mile, but I only got it in sprint, which was a shame, because mile would have been a little bit more useful. But hopefully next time I will get double S. I will try to do this again, but with Ogre cap. I will make her into a pace chaser and try this again, because like I said, I just do not have everything I need on late search. But here is everything, and as you can see, the cards were not that amazing, and I had to borrow a friend's card. So yeah, it was very easy to make this character work, because if you have these cards here, you don't really need this one. You don't need the strength one as much, but it does give a few good skills. You really just need the very first card in the list and the very last card in the list, and those will give you the necessary skills to go ahead and clear this content. I got a wisdom card just to get up the width to 400 more easily, but about 500 is more ideal. You will be safety capped there to use your skills most of the time. So yeah, just go ahead and just give it a go. You don't really need that high stats. it will all work out, even if you don't have continuous friends on their correct stats. As long as you have the minimum going across here, everything should be fine. Just have the right skills to pass and the minimum power required, and this card that you get for free, it is very, very important. So don't neglect raising it or using a friend's version, because this is really, really worth it. And I hope you find it a lot easier to build your pace tracers from now on. And I'm just quickly showing you the skills, but if you go ahead and just get as well, go with the flow, it will make everything a lot easier. So I'll go ahead, like I said, and make one on augury cap, and hopefully I will get the go with the flow, and I will show you how much easier it is if you have that skill and the shoot step skill. If those come out, that will be amazing, as well as the pace chaser savvy. If I get a good combination, is what I'm trying to say, it will be perfect, because prudent positioning is the start, but there is also go with the flow, which is the late version, and getting both together really makes everything a lot easier. So yeah, I just keep making veterans with the correct with the correct stats that I need. That's what I'm doing here. I'm not really always aiming for the end, I'm just aiming for good veteran stats, and if I get good inspirations, that's what I want to get to build a perfect version for the races. But on my account it is a little bit more difficult. This one I just picked up for the extra points at the end. It was the only one I could afford, and that's why that's there. It's not important to the character, but this one only won because it was on the outside. And like I said, this is not really a correct way to build a character. So yeah, don't be like me and go for speed. Go for stats first, that's much more important. And make sure you pick up this pace chaser savvy, it is really, really important. So yes, good luck with your pace chasers, and I will see you again in another video. Enjoy. Umamusume.